Seriously, result of our
I did kind of mess up.
Must also give you.
yes, present. So
Yeah.
that's the hard.
So hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Pubinno's Perfect Beer Talks webinar. Today, it's my great honor to actually be interviewing the creators and the inventors of the Internet of Beer, and of course the co-founders of Pubinno, Algul and Necdet Alpmen. Welcome to Pubinno's Perfect Beer Talks webinar.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us today.
Of course, actually, thank you, John, for letting me host you today, because usually you're the one who is doing the hosting at Perfect Beer Talks webinar. But for the past 5 episodes, you've given me the privilege to do the job, and I'm very thankful for that, because you have been dealing mostly with the expansion, especially the one in New York City. And now, guys, we are actually coming live to you from Istanbul, New York City, and San Francisco. So 11-hour difference. And we're live here with you on LinkedIn to answer the questions you guys might ask, to learn more about who the creators of the Internet of Beer are, what they can tell us about the insights of the future of the draft beer, and what do they have in store about Pubinno's future, Pubinno's 2024, and also what were their most favorite moments about Pubinno's 2023. So, very, very quickly, John, would you like to start first? First, how are you feeling? How are you? How is New York City today? 6 p.m. there.
Today is very important day because the first snow of the year happened in New York City. So winter is coming.
Yeah, winter is coming, and the first snow in New York City is always magical because New York City is magical, right? And that is one of the reasons why I think you decided to, Pubinno started expansion in the New York City. So briefly, you've been there for a few months. Can you tell us how is that going?
It's going incredible great. Actually, after our expansion in 60 cities, 3 continents, we decided to jump into New York because there are so many reasons behind of it. New York is the hub of the nightlife. New York is the capital of the world. But the basic answer, if you succeeded in New York, you can be succeeding everywhere. And as the guys from the day one to want to be industry standard in the future of the art, we come here to make it happen.
Well said. Just like you said, if you make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere, right? And that's what Pubinno is there to do, and that's what the team here in Istanbul is also trying their best to do. Now, Necdet, my question is for you, my other question. You are currently in San Francisco, like I mentioned. So
Yeah, just arrived today.
Yeah, just arrived today. 7 years ago.
I was in LA.
Yeah, 7 years ago, you were doing your first Smart App installment in San Francisco. And as far as I know, you went to San Francisco this time to do another installation of the Smart App, but for different occasion, different reasons, and of course, in different means. Can you tell us a bit about the difference that you've had from 7 years ago to the 7 years now, Necdet, Pubinno, Smart App, all of
it? Yeah, 7 years ago, the installation that we did in San Francisco was actually, I don't know, one of the first, maybe 50 or 101 back in that time. Like it was too early for us, and we still had the product like a beta version. So I had to do all the installations, but now when I look back after this, like 7 years, for example, tomorrow I'm gonna do an installation, but like we have done thousands of installations so far, and we have learned a lot. So I'm feeling very confident that, for example, nothing's gonna go wrong. But you learn a lot of things over the 7 years. Yeah. So that's still exciting. That this is happening, but I'm feeling much more confident, to be honest with you.
Great. And I guess winning the FoodBev award as the worldwide best technology innovation, must also give you some type of courage and reassurance that what you're doing and the product that you have is actually an amazing one, and I think that might also be a part of what's giving you that reassurance that tomorrow you'll do a much better installation that you've done 7 years ago, right?
Yeah. I did kind of mess up our first installation in San Francisco. I blew up the glycol chiller of the installed location. Not blew up, but I messed it up a little bit. So now I'm sure nothing like that happens, because we now work with like partners. We are building a technical installation partnership network all around US. So I'm actually not gonna do the installation by myself.
Yeah,
so we'll have someone doing the installation for us. So
you have a team now, right? Of people taking care. Oh, great. John, I saw you were laughing. So I thought, do you have anything else to share from Necdet's story about him almost blowing up the glycol? So, yeah.
Yeah, I just can share a long, thick stick that was in the story.
So, John, I also mentioned to Necdet how only last week Pubinno was awarded from FoodWeb Awards as the worldwide greatest technology innovation product with a smart app, of course. So what does this award mean to you? What does this award mean to Pubinno? What does this award mean to the future of Draft, in your opinion, of course?
For me, it doesn't surprise me. Even in the final, there was the world giants that we compete and Pubinno win. It doesn't surprise me, because even early days of us, our vision, Internet of Beer, our vision make the world much more greener. Our vision spreading the joy, who wants to better world, resonates the world. That's why Pubinno was selected one of the greatest startups in the bar domain 2 years in a row from Crunchbase before the pandemic. That's why even in World War II there was draft beer. In the pandemic there was not. This is the most terrible thing for this kind of startup. Pubinno passed that period for 5x growth because of its vision, because of its unique technology, unique and comprehensive. So I just want to celebrate my teammates. This is the result of their hard working efforts, but much more their commitment. So kudos to team.
Kudos to all of us, and to, of course, the inventors of the Internet of Beer. Now, you mentioned the sustainability part, and as somebody who works for Pubinno, I am aware of how much effort and how much importance we put to not only sustainability, not only to water conservation, but also to carbon emission. And I wanted to ask you, so far, Pubinno has saved around and over 265 million gallons of water through the Smart App and the Smart Clean. This year, we released the Net Zero Manifesto, and then a month or 2 months after that, we released the environmental report, showing the impact that the Smart App and the Smart Clean have on the environment, but also the difference that they make between, bottled beer and the other normal classic taps. So could you tell us a bit more about Pubinno's commitment to sustainability, and how does this align with the long-term goals of the company on its own?
Thank you.
Yes.
As you're aware, the world is facing very tough days. The climate crisis we are facing in every aspect of our life. And not only the beer side, for all consuming products, has issue about the packaging. Packaging is, accelerating the climate crisis in each case. Not only beer, all the beverages, from wine to cocktails, from water to even perfumes. Christine Dior opened the draft perfume store in Paris just last month.
Yeah.
So everything is turning into the draft, and it's a proud to pioneering to be future of draft on that day, because we put this vision almost 7-8 years ago. We said that, hey, there's much more better way. Let's come into the journey. And fortunately, now we have big community. Thanks for all of our listeners right now from all around the world. I saw on the LinkedIn from New Delhi to Istanbul, from Tokyo to New York. We had a great community who wants to better world, who say that perfect beer has a right. Perfect beer has a right for the greener world. So we will keep on the fight for the better world.
Well, I'm very, very, very happy to see how the future looks, because it looks very bright from where I'm sitting. And I'm very happy to be part of it. Now, you mentioned that Pubinno is the pioneers of the future of draft. We are the pioneers of the Internet of Beer. And we are the firsts who are doing the work that we are doing in like revolutionizing the beverage industry, and of course implementing AI, robotics, and machine learning into our products. Now, being the first ones has its own advantages, but also has its disadvantages. We often talk about the good parts of not just Pubinno, but most businesses always talk about the positive aspects. But can you tell us a little bit about the negative aspects that come with being first, especially in the beverage industry?
Because it's a great question. Let me turn back to first day of COVID. It was 13th March 2020. I was in Istanbul. I go to office. I went to office and make a mini town hall to announce, hey guys, we will work from the homes, blah blah blah. In that time, I got nervous in our colleagues' eyes, especially the new ones, because bars are closing. Are we gonna bankrupt, etc. In that day, it was the first day of the COVID. I said that, guys, 2 years from now on, we will say that if COVID doesn't happen, we'll never be in this point, because we are competing against the tradition. And now there is a storm which is removing the tradition. And as we all recognize, the hospitality industry open to ear for digitalization with the COVID process. That's why it brings to Pubinno incredible growth, extreme growth. So we are keeping on the transforming the world. But tradition is tradition. There are still big stakeholders who want to keep their seat with the tradition. But as I told you, Pubinno is not a tech company. Pubinno is a community who wants better world. And this community will build their own way because world needs it.
Yeah, thank you. And Necdet, do you have anything to add to what Can said?
I think I can. I look this question as a more like technical perspective, because when you are building something new, like there is nothing that you can, take a peek and like, oh, they did this like this, so I'm gonna like tweak this part and play with this part and I'm gonna change it, like make an incremental change. But what we are doing is actually, as Can said, we are competing against tradition. So there is, for example, for smart tap, there is this manual taps versus smart tap. Like there is not too many things in between. So we are trying to build like a complete end-to-end new experience. I think that's quite challenging and also motivational for the team that we are working with, like for the engineers. I'm an engineering background, so it's kind of motivating for me to try to solve these challenging issues and keep improving our products and like add a lot of new features. Like we are adding quite good new features, and I think it will be public in the next couple of months. So it's exciting as an engineer, to be honest with you.
Well, you kind of stole two of my questions with your answer, but I'll still ask you, so it's okay. My other question was, you mentioned challenges, Necdet. for both of you, John and Necdet, what has been one of the biggest challenges you've had to face since you founded Pubinno? You both said it's been 7 to 8 years. What has been the biggest challenge you've had so far?
What is the biggest challenge so far? It's a tough question because we started Pubinno where the beer started in the world. You know, the first beer was discovered by Ninkasi in the Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
One day we will build Ninkasi Museum in Mesopotamia. It was tough to start from there. Then we jump into our journey to Silicon Valley, and now from Madrid to Tokyo, more than 2,000 are using Pubinno's AI technologies. I think came into the same part. You know, world beer industry is so consolidated. 75% of the industry belongs to 10 companies, and on the other hand, there is a very, very, very old tradition. Competing against tradition is really tough because it's like, you know, fighting against a ghost. There is no physical thing, there is no real one, but there is. What can you say, for example? Sometimes I got very, very strange answers in my journey. There's big waste, for example, of beer, and if you remember, to make the 1 liter beer, you need to consume 155 liter water.
Yeah.
And they said, we love the traditional way. How can you answer? For example, there's some unofficial answers for it, but you know, so we are teaching day by day, by the numbers, by the results, because everybody who joins this journey, they win, because the future of draft will win.
Yeah.
Let's talk with the numbers. Who is working with Pubinno, every $1 they put, they got like $5.2. I mean, the brewery side. For the bar side, they are making much more profit. But as beer lovers, as us, we all want the perfect draft experience. That's why this year, Pubinno transformed 28 festivals in the summer with different geographies in Europe. And more than 100,000 people attended and have a chance to get their beer by self-payments. So it shows us that till now on, Pubinno was behind of the bar with smart tap, smart clean, and smart hub. And it seems like it's time to jump into the front. Pubinno needs to meet their community in a physical way, and we will do that in a very exciting transformation.
And I'm very excited for it. And you mentioned the self-payment, and before you mentioned, I was gonna say I was part of one of the festivals that you mentioned during the summer, and the self-payment, people love it. The Bitcoin payment, people go crazy over it. Google payment, Apple payment is something that they're like, wow, I didn't know this was possible, but you have changed my entire life. And they just kept coming and coming and coming. And to be honest, I've been a Pubinno for 1 year, and it was so good and it was so fulfilling as well, because as a team we work on the back-end part and we just work, you know, to make the products better and to make, of course, Pubinno bigger. But when you see the excitement in people's faces, I think it's what makes everything worth it. And I think it's what excites you guys the most and all of us the most. And you mentioned how it's hard for people to understand that there's a need for the smart tap sometimes, but we always said education, right? Education is the key point that Pubinno has done for this 7 to 8 years, educating people on the problem and having them understand that there is a problem and they're suffering from very big problems daily, and the smart app and the smart clean and the smart hub fixes it for them, right? Yeah. So from the most,
I can say a few words on this.
Of course,
part.
Yeah.
Like the education part, I mean, you mentioned that people sometimes doesn't notice the problem, but when we go to bars in New York, so like as a part of our business, we visit bars and we taste beer. I mean, that's fun, but when you taste the beer at many locations in New York, Manhattan area, you'll find off tastes in the beer, like buttery taste or like some metallic taste. I mean, there's a long way to progress, but they keep selling this beer, you know, because like there is this unconsciousness that that what we mean by fighting against the tradition. Actually, like there is a huge problem there, and there's, for example, if you're selling a beer that is not in good shape, your sales are gonna drop, and you're gonna keep wondering why your sales are not good.
Yeah,
that's actually like what we're solving.
Exactly. So I asked you about the most challenging part since founding Pubinno. Now I wanted to ask you guys about the most memorable part, the one that you remember with the best memories in your mind. Necdet, I'll start from you this time, since John, you answered first the other question.
For me, the most challenging piece and the most memorable piece is had a correlation. I think for my like personal effort, the most challenging part was going mass production as a hardware startup. That was really challenging, and seeing the first products shipped in, I think that was 2018, shipped from the factory with a like load them in the trucks. I mean that I cannot. When I picture that piece, I feel very happy, you know. And also like seeing the products working at our customers, and I'm seeing, so we run like frequent, like periodic surveys to our clients, and it comes up to me on like an email, like scoring from 0 to 10. And when I keep seeing 10s, like, okay, I would recommend Pubinno products to other people, I feel really happy.
And actually, I couldn't say anything specific as a most memorable moment, because, as I always say, this is much more than product, this is much more than the clients. This is a community-based thing. Who wants perfect experience? Who wants greener road? So witnessing our community happiness is for me the most memorable one. Witnessing our colleagues' wedding, our colleagues' birthday, witnessing the happy bar owners, the happy brewery managers, seeing the results of our environmental impact. These all combine and create my memory.
That's actually an amazing answer. So you're saying it's not a specific moment, but it's different little moments during the day that make you happy and keep you going, right?
We are spreading the joy.
Yeah.
That's the DNA of Pubinno. We are spreading the joy. So the most memorable part for me.
Well, great answer. Thank you very much. Now I'll ask you guys one question about the team culture at Pubinno and how you guys as founders lead us actually. So as founders, both of you lead and teach us every day as a team. But I was wondering, have you guys ever learned anything from your team? Maybe it might be one member specifically, maybe it's the entire team. I was just wondering about that. What have you learned, maybe if you've learned something?
Actually, as you know, my background is basketball coach.
Yes.
I'm coming from the coaching side. And even though that, every day I'm learning from my brave team to fight, keep on to fight. Today, I read an article in New York Times, and you know, this year was very, very difficult around the world. It's a recession year, and end of this year, thousands of startups will stop their operation, and the VC money, venture capital money, behind of that stopping startups was more than $40 billion, something like that. It excludes the IPO teams. It's just, you know, small startups. And even though a bar industry standard startup who passed the COVID time and create a very organic growth-based startup. We only do by believing, by keeping confide, by stand behind of to creating value. This year, we are closing this year by doubling the revenue by 2x growth. And Spain was our rock star in this growth. Specific of Spain, we grew almost 5x. I mean, 500% growth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just last week, we opened the Barcelona operation, and there are many bars started to use Pubinno technologies in Barcelona. One of them is very close to Sagrada Familia.
Yes.
One of the most touristic place in the world. So we are inviting all the people to get experience perfect beer in there. So behind of all this success, team. There's a team. There is a believers, and you know our motto. Excuses are for losers. We are the inventors, and I'm learning from the team every single day to keep on fighting.
Nice. Necdet, do you have anything to share?
I think I'm on the same page with Can on this one. The thing like most I learned from the team, if you keep believing in yourself and keep fighting towards a good cause, there is no limit on what you can achieve.
Well said. And there is no limit to what we can achieve because we are the ones deciding the limits to the future of draft, right? Because we are the ones inventing it with Internet of Fear.
Even there is no limit for your sleeping time. What time there is in Istanbul?
It's 2:30 a.m. Yes. 2:30. Yeah, 2:30 a.m.
And you still stand alone. Very energetic.
We're good. I'm not alone, actually. I have my team here because we do support one another. Like the marketing team is here, and we're excited. We were so excited for this webinar. We have been working for it for like a week nonstop, and we wanted to do the best webinar possible. And especially for me, it was very special. So I'm very excited I'm here. I don't even need coffee. I did not have coffee before this meeting. Behind the scenes, Can did ask me, "Did you have coffee?" And I said no, because I'm excited enough. I don't need coffee for this webinar. So Can, going back to you, if you look back to all of the important decisions you have made since you founded Pubinno, what do you think has been the best and the worst decision you've made so far?
Best and worst decisions. Quite difficult. Quite difficult one. Best decision. I don't recall like best and worst decision. Maybe it's because when you're running a startup company or like scale up over time, you make decisions like constantly throughout the day. So I think after some point you start thinking about like, this is a good decision I made, or this is the best decision I made. I don't know, because I think the key thing here is to just make a decision and execute that decision in a good way, and then if something goes wrong, you fix it. Because most of the decisions we make in the business, it's not like a single way decision. So you make this decision and you cannot go back. I don't think there is that type of decisions, that many decisions on that concept. I mean, you get that type of decisions maybe once or twice in a year, but most of the decisions you make, you can just go back, to be honest. So.
Well,
I have some answers for the best part, actually. And I remember my memory. As you know, that when we have founded Pubinno with Nico, I always say Pubinno story based on the dropout stories. He dropped out his PhD, I dropped out to college, and the first startup, then we built the Pubinno. So in that time, I remember we have maybe less than $1,000. We founded Pubinno, something like that.
Yeah. Well, of course, starting Pubinno should have been, yeah, most probably should be the best decision you've made so far, right? So, going from these serious questions and challenging questions, I have a tiny game prepared for the both of you. So, the game will be me, I'm going to name either 3 cities or 3 things, and you're going to choose your favorite one. So, John, I'll go with you first. Istanbul, New York City, or Tokyo?
Okay, it's competing Istanbul and New York. That's green light for New York.
Green light
I'm
for
still
New York.
learning.
Green light for New York we have. Necdet, Barcelona, San Francisco, or Tokyo?
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Definitely.
This is totally
I'm a fan of
serious.
like Japanese culture, so I like the Tokyo as a city as well. I
Well,
think it's quite
yeah.
lively and fun.
So,
I don't
John,
know if I'd want to live there, but
that's,
it's a great city to visit.
well, I would love to visit, yeah.
The
John?
difference our answers reminds me the Y Combinator. Our Silicon Valley journey was started in Y Combinator.
Yeah.
And in there, we learned that the best co-founders coming from the opposite skills, opposite characters. That's totally reflect us. And fortunately, together almost 10 years, he's Tokyo guy.
Yeah, and you're a New York City guy. So, other question. John, would you rather innovate, lead, or transform?
Without innovation, you cannot lead the transformation. Innovate.
Nice one. Necdet?
I think so too, yeah. Innovation. Innovate.
Well, not shocked from the guys who are. My other question is, there are 3 sayings at Pubinno's office in Istanbul. Keep it simple, silly. Go with the flow. And, John? Excuses are for losers, we are the inventors.
Excuses are for losers, we are the inventors.
Which one is your favorite?
All of them is our baby, but let's take it, go with the flow, because we are in a very happy celebration day as we awarded the best beverage technology in the world by surpassing the serious competitors. So let's go with the flow and let's build what worlds want.
Necdet?
I like to keep it simple, silly.
Do you remember when was your worst beer experience?
Oh, I was gonna ask that. So, okay.
Sometimes it affects the big things in your joy. As we always say, we are spreading the joy. Nobody has a right to cut the joy. Nico doesn't have any trauma.
I figured it out. I think it's in New York. We went to a bar for Halloween, and I was trying to try different beer, but I didn't know, I don't like sour beers too much. I don't want to offend anyone, but I don't like sour beers. And the beer I picked was a sour beer, and it was not in a good shape. It was warm, and there was, I don't know, it was already sour, and I think the lines were not cleaned properly. That was a terrible experience, and I couldn't finish, to be honest, the glass. That's what I remember, the worst experience.
Okay then, thank you. My other question for you guys is a tough one, a very tough one. I have 2 very tough questions now. And it might be like asking a parent to choose their favorite child. But, John, Smart Tap, Smart Clean, or Smart Hub?
Internet of beer.
Necdet?
Yeah, Internet of beer. Because it's actually the thing that we are building. It's the solution.
Yeah. And the other question is now, Pubinno has won many awards in 2023. If I can mention some of them, not all of them. From Food Awards worldwide, best technology innovation for the beverage industry. Hospitality Tech Expo, best innovation for restaurants and bars. Then we go to the team part of Pubinno. We have Great Place to Work. Then we have Best Place to Work for Women. And then we have Great Place to Work for Innovation. And then on the personal side, for our co-founders, we have 40 under 40 for Mr. Can Algul. And then we have one of the best CTOs in San Francisco, Necdet Alpmen. And then I can't forget this, as Pubinno, we won the robotics top 30 biggest companies in the Bay Area. Which one do you think, Can, has the biggest significance for you personally? Which one would you say? All of them, yeah.
In different perspective. But let's take Ninkasi. Our community, not only the team, but the community, we try to reach as diverse as the color of different aspects of the life. So in this journey, the women are the DNA of this journey. Maybe the energy is coming from Ninkasi or maybe somewhere else. So makes me a little bit, emotional to getting best working places for women. We will support all the communities, and women always will be the center of Pubinno team.
Well, I'm very happy to be part of Pubinno's team as a woman as well. And
great work to get you.
Thank you. Now, Nico, I mentioned robotics top 30. I mentioned the 30 biggest robotics companies in the Greater Bay Area, and of course, the name itself says that the company does something with robotics, right? As the CTO of Pubinno, how has Pubinno leveraged robotics and technology to stand out in the beverage industry, and what impact has it had on the company's growth?
So it's mostly included in our smart tap product, which we try to build it as a platform, the product itself, and I think that's one of the major differentiators. That it's not like a static product, but it's something that we like. From each product, we collect a lot of data from different locations, and we collect the bartenders' behaviors, like how they're using the devices, etc. And then we analyze this data and we keep updating the algorithms we run on each device and keep improving the performance of the devices, the services, to get closer to the maximum level that we can reach. So I think that's quite valuable and hard to achieve, hard to, I think, copy as well.
Well, in the beginning of the webinar, you also mentioned that there are some new features and there are some new things coming on the way from Pubinno and from our products. What can you share with us? A little bit of a sneak peek.
I cannot share this at this event, sorry.
But okay, well then tell us something.
We're running some private betas at the moment.
Yeah.
But it will be live in 3 months.
So new features or new products? Yeah, tell us that. New features or new products? That's what we want to know. A little bit of.
Actually, none of them.
None of them? Okay.
It's not about a new feature or new product. As I said, this year, hundreds of thousands of people made experience Pubinno technologies in a very joyful times.
Yeah.
And we are keeping on to spread the joy. So it's all about community. Now it's time to jump into the front side from the behind of the bars. Our community needs it, our community wants it. So we will touch them. Pubinno technologies will meet with our community in their hands.
Well, thank you very much
for
that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much for sharing even that much with us. I'm very excited to see what's coming. Now, I have the last two questions of this webinar for you guys. The first one is, what can we expect from Pubinno in 2024?
In 2024, what can we expect from Pubinno? I think we're gonna expand in the US a lot in different states. So it's something that you can expect to find us if you travel to US or if you're in the US. You'll see us at more locations.
Well, US will be the catalyst of our growth. This year, Spain did this, and many big cities will meet with Pubinno technologies. So, in a final sentence, I would like to invite to join this journey to some key players of the industry. Open ears to what community wants. Community needs perfect experience. The world needs to be decarbonized. Let's make it happen much more faster way. We will do this. The future of draft will win. Our community win. So thanks to everyone from New Delhi to Istanbul, from Tokyo to New York, to joining in this journey. We are keeping on to creating better world all together. Cheers for everyone.
Cheers. Well, thank you very much, Can, Necdet, for taking your time from your busy schedule to come to this To Perfect Beer Talks webinar. Thank you to everyone who joined live. Thank you to all the 360 of you who attended the webinar. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one, I guess.